moving on to the last team that we are going to be talking about tonight, and that is going to be the 76ers. And our topic is how legit or how for real are the 76ers this year? Obviously, they made a huge splash, convincing Paul George somehow to come to Philly and join the franchise in free agency. It's not really super duper often that a superstar changes a team on the open market. Trades happen all the time, but the open market's kind of a little bit of a different story. But while adding Paul George, they lose a couple of their key bench players, right? They lose guys like DeAnthony Melton. Chris Batum was on the team. I know Tobias Harris is super polarizing to 76ers fans. One year they hate him, one year they love him. So all three of them played at least 26 minutes per game, key moments in helping Philly win games out there. It is a little bit of a setback because, yes, you bring on a superstar like Paul George, but if Paul George can actually play his role, I think the 76ers can be good. I don't need Paul George to be the second option here. He is very clearly the third option, and you bring him on for defensive presence. That's what you want to bring Paul George on for. And he's not really like an elite level defender anymore. He's a good defender, but he's not elite level. He just needs to play his role for the 76ers to be good. That's what I think I'm really looking for this team. If he can't do that, and if the bench is too weak, and Joel Embiid can't stay healthy, and Paul George can't stay healthy, Tyrese Maxey can't do it all by himself. We saw that last year, even with the role players. You can't take worse role players, dump off 2 stars with injuries, and expect to be better.
And Paul George is already hurt.
Yeah. Yep.
And Embiid isn't playing any of the preseason because they don't want him to get hurt. Tyrese Maxey left the game tonight hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think it was just a hand contusion, not anything serious. But what do the added offensive production of Paul George offsetting Tyrese Maxey's development is an interesting question. It's an interesting discussion to have. And it's not like Paul George signed a 1-and-1. I think he signed like a 4-year, $200 million deal, didn't he? That dude's going to be around for the long run. And I just, it's a big three with a rising star in Maxey.
4-year, 212.
With 2 of those pillars injured all the time. Tyrese Maxey and Paul George, does that do anything for you if Embiid's hurt? No.
Nope.
Does Tyrese and Embiid do anything for you? Well, we saw that last year. We know it's not good enough.
Yeah. Well, if Joel stays healthy, it's good enough to make, I think, the 6th seed. But I don't know if it really gets past anything further than that with just those 2. Again, you dump off a lot of the key, role players that you have on the team. That depth, it matters, right? And so the question is Drew, when did Tyrese Maxey get good? When did he really take a step? When James Harden fucked off and he left.
Yeah.
It allowed him to take a step up. It allowed him to start what he averaged last year, 27, 28 points per game. It was a lot. He took his next step and he developed the way he was supposed to. And he got his contract. You bring on another superstar, if he can't fill his role the way you hope he's going to in terms of, hey, you're the third, not the second type thing, yeah, I'd be a little bit nervous for the development of Tyrese Maxey, especially you just paid him this contract, and then you pay Paul George 4 years, $212 million, and you're paying Joel Embiid a shit ton of money, and the 76ers team has a lot of questions surrounding.
I'll tell you what, though. Do you know what's completely different about the 76ers than the Milwaukee Bucks?
Their head coach?
Bingo.
They actually have a good head coach out there.
See, bro, that's why I like you, because we're just Nick Nurse, man. That is a different level of head coach, and he's really, really good. And I just think if anyone, I just believe for Maxey, I believe Nick Nurse is just going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. And then shout out Jared McCain. Hopefully he's all right after taking his fall. It sounds like he will be. But I think he's going to be a pretty good rookie out this year too. But not a lot of bench depth to this team. And I think that's the most concerning thing. How Paul George is going to play his role, how healthy Joel Embiid is going to play, and the development or the regression of Tyrese Maxey is going to be the biggest questions for the 76ers this year. They have a lot surrounding them, and it's hard to kind of pinpoint them. If all of them are healthy and playing, even with the limited bench stuff, 5th seed, 4th, maybe if they're feeling really frisky.
My God, the play-in just changes so much, because if you can't get the 4th seed, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th historically didn't matter. It's like, well, let's rest these guys. Who cares if we get 7th instead of 5th? You know what I mean? Now with the play-in. But the thing about Nick Nurse is that a player...
They're not making the 4th seed, by the way, looking at the teams. I don't think they're making 4th seed.
So
where they might
first is Celtics, second is Knicks, third is...
I believe in Orlando a lot this year.
Oh, fuck me, man. You and the damn... They beat you guys one time, and you're like, you know what? That's going to be my second team. Orlando is just going... You're taking Orlando to be third?
Orlando, and then there's Milwaukee, there's the Cavs, there's the Pacers. Those are the guys who are...
Okay. Celtics, Knicks... Magic, Cavs, Pacers,
Cavs,
76ers,
Bucks, Pacers.
That's okay. So
Bucks,
now we're at
76ers, Pacers. They're somewhere in there.
What about the Miami Jimmy Butlers?
Is he actually going to take this year serious?
I don't know. You're the one that we were peeing down your pant leg about facing them in the playoffs last year.
Is Terry Rozier going to stay healthy all season? Is Jimmy Butler going to be healthy? I don't know how much I believe in all that.
What about Zach LaVine?
What about him? Josh Giddey, Zach LaVine, Josh Giddey.
That's going to be exciting, bro. That's going to be exciting.
Hey, and Lonzo's going to be healthy. Shout out to Lonzo, man. Hopefully he has a decent year. It's nice to see him back on the court.
All jokes aside, that's fantastic. I fucking love that. Even though he was drafted as a Laker, I absolutely love that. And shout out to Lil Bro, too. Like, I hope,
hopefully he stays healthy.
Hopefully, because he's fun as hell to watch. So,
yep. I feel like the East bottom teams are so bad that it's like you have to propel these teams up in the playoffs. Pistons, piss poor. Wizards, piss poor. The Nets, piss poor. Like the Hornets, not good enough. The Raptors, not good enough. Scotty Barnes is not good enough to carry an entire franchise. Like, I like him, but he's not good enough. So then what, the Hawks make it? Probably not. It's like someone has to make that last seed, that 10th seed. I don't know who the fuck it is, but it might be Toronto. That might be the team that makes it in. If the Hornets, maybe, LaMelo takes the next step and he's healthy, maybe they can take that 10th seed. But
so
the Eastern Conference is probably going to look a lot of the same in terms of the teams that are in.
Reeling this back a little bit, because I kind of derailed at you, laughing at you for putting the Magic at 3. Going back to the Sixers, fine. You think they're 5th. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Players, who I think is an underrated impact player for them this year is Kelly Oubre. Because
they re-signed him.
Him on another team where it's all wild and he's kind of just chucking up threes with that ugly ass shot of his. It doesn't work. But when I was looking through some 76er stuff, I read an article and they had a quote from him, and he was like, he said something about just he's water. He tries to be water. Like he just goes with the flow of every game and fills in where he needs to be. That is a highly educated way to look at yourself as a basketball player, especially where he's at. There might be a night where you need to go out and get 9 rebounds. You might need a night where you get 3 or 4 assists. You might use up all 6 of your fouls defending somebody. He scored 20 points the other night in one of their games. Like, have an understanding like that as a player, a role player, what you can succeed at and what your team needs is massive for him and his understanding of what he brings to the court. And I really like that. So, I wouldn't pick the Magic to finish in front of them, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. The Magic to me are super interesting because they do need to win the 3rd seed this year. They do need to be really good because they have to pay everybody. There's $200 million contracts that got to go out to all the young players on that team. So
come on, this is a pretty good fucking young team though, right? Jalen Suggs, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope went over there. So more defense on that team. Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, if he can take the next step, because he's been fantastic. Wendell Carter / Mo Wagner, depending on who starts there. Jonathan Isaac, if he can stay healthy. Anthony Black, Gary Harris, Cole Anthony. It's pretty good starting 10.
I like the team. I do, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just you have to make decisions on this team very quickly because Paulo in his contract, Franz in his contract,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. I hope they're good. I hope Paulo kills it. That way I don't have to sit here and listen to you talk about Cade all the time.
Man, what's wrong with Cade, bro? You don't like Cade?
Bro, he's got like 17 career wins.
Yeah, that's okay, man. Cade's pretty good, man.
Okay, man. For those 17 wins, he was pretty good, man.
I mean, what do you want him to do? Like, there's nothing else around him.
I think he should request a trade, actually.